Alright, where was I? That's right, they were just meeting a bunch of other boats. Okay, so they meet this boat called the Rosebud, and Stubb cons that boat into giving up this old whale that it's towing, which is a dumb thing to do because that whale is money, because it's full of ambergris, which is like whale jizz, but it's also apparently like pure X, because everybody gets their hands in it and then they start touching on each other, and it's super duper erotic. They're still a little high by the time night falls, I guess, because then they all go to that doubloon, remember, that Ahab nailed to the mast to give to the first person who sighted Moby Dick? So they all go to it in the middle of the night, and they all deliver these, like, crazy monologues to it, especially Stubb, because he is high as balls. I swear, Stubb is probably the only person who is consistently having a good time throughout this horrible, horrible book. Like, he knows how to party. He's eating raw whale steaks. He's taking pure X out of a whale's dick. He is fucked up, like, most of the time. But anyway, yeah, then they meet this other boat named the Samuel Enderby, which is also in a very good mood, but not because of whale jizz, because of whale blubber, which they got a lot of, and they're going to make a lot of money. So everybody goes over to the Samuel Enderby and they party, and Ahab even parties. He parties so hard he breaks his wooden leg, his bone leg, and he has to have another bone leg made, because he's not going to have a wooden leg made. Not like there's a ton of wood on this boat. No, he needs to use a whale bones, and he's real creepy to the carpenter, too. And he stays creepy, because right after that, they realize that the whale oil, their money, is leaking out the back of the boat as they're sailing. And Starbuck goes to Ahab, and she's like, look, dude, we need to stop, because I'm trying to make some money off this mission. And Ahab's like, you know what I'm trying to make off this mission? Some motherfucking revenge. We're going to keep going. And Starbuck's like, oh, dude, it totally slipped my mind. There's somebody on board the ship that you should actually be really concerned about. And Ahab's like, who is it? Tell me. And she's like, it's you. It's fucking you. You are the number one liability that this crew, and therefore yourself, are facing right now. And Ahab's like, whoa, shit. That's deep. Now, when you put it that way, I guess I should probably chill the fuck out. And she's like, yeah, you think? So they stop for a little while, and they repair the barrels. But Ahab's anti-crazy doesn't last for very long, because immediately after that, he goes to the blacksmith, and he's like, yo, make me a fucking harpoon, and I'm gonna dip it in blood, and then I'm gonna use it to kill Moby Dick. And I don't even know where he gets the blood. I don't remember. It might be his blood. It might be some blood that he found. I wouldn't put it past him to just have some blood in case he needs to make a harpoon. So he does that, and he makes a pact with the devil, and the blacksmith's super freaked out about it, because Ahab is a fucking crazy person. But it seems to work out fairly well, at least in the short term, because right after that they kill 4 whales in a row, and Ahab kills one of them, and he's staying up all night watching the whale carcass so no one will steal it, along with his prophet, Fedallah. You remember that guy? The secret guy he smuggled onto the ship? So Ahab's talking to Fedallah overnight, and he's like, yo, Fedallah, can you remind me about that prophecy you made about how I'm going to die, because it's narratively convenient for you to tell me that right now? Fedallah's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. 1, you're not going to die until you see 2 hearses. 1 not made by mortal hands, and 1 made out of wood from America. 2, I will die before you, but before you die, I will come back to conduct you to the afterlife. And number 3, you can only be killed by hemp. And Ahab's like, wow, yeah, that's a really complicated prophecy. Why wouldn't you just tell me that I'm not going to die? And Fedallah's like, why wouldn't I indeed? So anyway, then the next day, Ahab continues to be crazy by taking a compass and fucking stomping on it, because he's like, we don't need a compass to find Moby Dick. We can just follow my rock-hard whale erection. And everyone's like, didn't need to know that. But they keep fucking going. And there's a storm. And Starbuck realizes, very intelligently, that the direction that this storm is blowing is back the way they fucking came. And they're stocked full of whale jizz and fucking whale blubber and whale skin and whatever other part of the whale they didn't just leave to rot in the middle of the ocean. They got a ton of fucking money stashed in this boat. They could just turn around and ride that wind home. So Starbuck goes to Ahab and is like, hey, let's ride this wind home. And Ahab's like, how about we ride this wind up your fucking ass? And Starbuck's like, there's no need for that kind of language. And also there's a storm right now. If we're going to stay in it, we should probably put up the lightning rods. But Ahab says no, because in one paragraph, he is about to make more bad command decisions than anyone else has probably in the history of literature. So he doesn't put up the lightning rod. And then when lightning strikes the ship, because it's a ship in the middle of the ocean, and the fucking sails catch on fire. He doesn't tell anybody to do anything about it. In fact, instead, he's holding up his harpoon. It gets struck by lightning. It catches on fire, which he uses to threaten his fucking crew. And everybody backs off because nobody wants to die tonight from the flaming harpoon. Like, if you're in the middle of a lightning storm, you want to die from fucking lightning. You don't want to die because your captain's harpoon caught on fire and he stabbed you because he thought you were a white whale. It's just unseemly. You don't want to have to tell somebody's family that happened. So they get through the night, but the storm's still going on. It's still blowing against them. They're like, I guess, rowing the boat, or they attach their outboard motor or whatever. They keep going. And Starbuck is, at this point, she's just thinking to herself, like, I kind of have a responsibility to the crew at this point. Should I just shoot this motherfucker? But she can't bring herself to do it because she's a good first mate. And good first mates, among other things, do not shoot their captain. So she doesn't. Then, all the compasses reverse themselves, because of the storm, but also because of black magic. But it's okay, because Ahab uses his own black magic, also known as science, to create a new compass. It's like magnets. How the fuck do those work? And then they toss a log line out behind the boat to try and reckon using that, but the log line breaks, and then a dude falls overboard, and they throw a buoy to him, and the buoy sinks, and he dies. So really, they should have done some safety checks before they went out in this boat, because everything's kind of falling apart right now. I bet they don't even have any fucking lifeboats. And then they keep going, despite all of the bad things that are happening, and they run into this other boat called the Rachel. And the Rachel is very sad, because several of the captain's sons are missing, and he's like, hey, Ahab, you're another whaleboat, and a parent. I bet you can feel my pain, and maybe help me look for my boys? And Ahab's like, no, I'm looking for a big old whale. And the dude is like, look, the whale has been around for a long time and is practically immortal. You could help me find my sons now. And Ahab's like, no! And the Rachel's like, dude, you are such a dick. But they keep going anyway. Hey, another bad omen. I think that was like 50 more bad omens in the last minute of me talking, in case you were trying to keep track for some reason. And then, so now at this point, Ahab's getting real antsy because he's like, he can feel it in his bones that Moby Dick is near. So he has Starbuck like hold him up, so that he can see just a little bit higher to see if the whale is there. And while Starbuck's holding him up, a whale comes by and steals Ahab's hat. Or not a whale. Why would a whale do that? No, a bird comes by and steals Ahab's hat. Because birds, right? Right? Am I right? Even in this classic work of literature, birds just fucking things up. So it's another bad omen. And then they meet another boat called the Delight. Everybody's sad because like 5 of their crew were killed by Moby Dick. Hey, another bad omen. Bit on the nose, don't you think, Herman Melville? Just chill out a little bit, dude. So then Starbuck is like, come on, dude, just turn back. This is like 1,000,006 bad omens going on right now, and I really don't have the patience for this. And Ahab's like, maybe I will not. And they keep going. So they just keep going. And Ahab sees Moby Dick first. So after all of this, with the doubloon and everything, he fucking claims the doubloon that he put up there. And he's like, yeah, it's mine, motherfuckers. So they go out after it. He goes out in the boat. He's way ahead. But then Moby Dick like slaps his tail on the water and Ahab falls out of the boat. So everyone's like, great, we saw Moby Dick, we fucked up, let's turn around. Nope. They go out and they chase after Moby Dick again. And Moby Dick kills Fedallah. Fedallah gets towed out of the boat by his harpoon and like strapped to Moby Dick's body, and Moby Dick dives, and it's like, well, yeah, Fedallah's obviously dead. So now one of our crew members have died. Great, we can turn around. It's sad, but we can go home. Fucking nope. They go after the whale one more time. So Ahab's like, yeah, trick, yeah, and he's going after the whale. He's going after Moby Dick. He's being a fucking asshole. And he gets, and the whale crests out of the water, and all of a sudden, all the pieces come together for Ahab, because he sees the whale, and Fedallah is strapped to it, which is like, okay, Fedallah came back to escort him to the afterlife, right? Like, just like he said in the prophecy. And he's on the whale, which is like a living hearse, so it's a hearse not created by mortal hands, which technically not true because whales are mortal, but technically true because whales don't have hands. And then he looks back, and fucking the ship is sinking because Moby Dick hit it, because Moby Dick knows to go at ships, remember, when he gets harpooned. So that ship is sinking, and that's full of people, so that's a hearse too, and that's a hearse made out of wood from America. Holy shit. And then, while all of this is going on in Ahab's head, the hemp rope that I told you wasn't ever going to come back, haha, I fooled you, it grabs him by the leg, it pulls him out of the ship, Moby Dick pulls him down, he fucking drowns, he dies, who's surprised? Raise your hand. Oh, not raising my hand, not fucking surprised. And the only person who survives this whole thing is fucking Ishmael. Like, he grabs onto a piece of driftwood and he just rides that shit out. The least experienced person, and in fact a person you haven't really heard from for the past like several million pages, is the only person who survives. Which brings me to my theory about the actual story behind Moby Dick, which is that Ahab is not a real person. Ishmael was the captain of the Pequod, and it was a crazy asshole, and got his whole crew killed, and he just doesn't want to fucking admit it, so he made up this other character. Oh, Ahab, a crazy person, made my boat die. No, it was fucking Ishmael. He got everybody killed. That's why he's writing all this shit about whales. He has this creepy obsession with whales that you could see throughout the whole book. It makes so much fucking sense. Ishmael is a monster. Anyway, the moral of the story is that whales are terrible. They just make terrible nemesis. Like, because they won't even know that you're mad at them. They don't understand. It's very hard to communicate to a whale that you're mad at it because you don't speak the same language. And like, if you fucking hate whales, that's fine. All you have to do is just keep acting the exact same way that you are, because we're already wiping whales off the face of the planet without you having to declare a vendetta. So basically, just pick someone else to be mad at. The end.